Oh, okay. Now we got you. Okay, I had the wrong thing going there. Anyway, you've heard that tune a time or two.
Yes, and you have great taste in music for playing that.
Of course. Yes, you betcha. Terry Johnson, Midland County Judge. Terry, any thoughts about a burn ban in the county, or have we had enough rain?
There's a set of numbers we go by, and we're really, believe it or not, a long ways away from declaring one right now. So it can change if we don't get any more rain and it gets hot and a lot of wind. But right now we seem to be in good shape.
Okay, the big news from Midland County Judge Terry Johnson and the county this morning is another pay raise coming. Of course, last week it was for the sheriff's deputies and people at the courthouse. Now another pay raise for jailers. Tell us all about it.
Well, we didn't mean to do it two different times, but we did the first one for the patrol deputies to give some immediate, instant relief to what's going on in our pay scale. Sheriff and I have been working the last couple of years on trying to come up with a pay scale that kind of mimics the one with the city, the one with the city of Odessa, the one with the Ector County Sheriff's Department. Ours is it's a big pay scale. We've got like 40 grades and 30 different steps. So the mixture of a grade 13, step 25, it's so complicated, it's unreal. So we're trying to get their pay scale down to a more manageable deal where we can deal with it like other law enforcement agencies. And so we looked at real hard last year, and we're looking at it this year, doing away with some positions that have been funded for years that never get utilized, never get filled. And so we did away with those positions, and we gave the deputies, patrol deputies, a raise last time, and we calculated all of that. There was still some money left over from those positions being closed, and so we addressed the next major issue we had, and that was the jailers. And so this court, we gave the jailers a raise. The raises they got last court and this court were in my budget, going to be in my budget for October 1st. But we did jump the gun because we did eliminate some positions and use the money for that. So we were able to give them raises early. It's not that we don't appreciate all the rest of the county employees. It's just that these guys need some help. We need to recruit. We need to maintain the folks we have, and so we're doing everything we can to do that.
And, Judge, how much will a jailer now make? How big of an increase?
Roughly, it's $5,000 per jailer. They're all at different stages because they've been there longer. A lot of things, just like any employee in any business. But essentially, in the pocket of each jailer, it's about roughly $5,000 a year.
All right, that's pretty substantial. And, of course, I had the opportunity to talk to a deputy the other day, and let me tell you something. He was surely happy with the pay raise that you and the commissioners gave him and the patrol officers, a very substantial amount of money. So now they are making more than MPD. Not that there's a lot of hopefully not a lot of competition, but anyway, it is what it is, and it's been good for them.
And we didn't mean to outdo in any other department. We have the county has habitually been lower pay, always has been. I've never understood it. They come out of the same academies. It's the same trained folks, and yet we've always paid less. The mindset of the previous administration, it just wasn't good between the previous court and the sheriff's department, and I'm trying to change that. Sheriff Kreiner is doing a great job from day one. He was fought for more people for more money for his people. I give him kudos for that. We haven't always had it, and to be honest, we hadn't always had a court that would go along with it. I think now we have a court that is very supportive of law enforcement, so I'm very proud to be a part of this court. It hasn't always been that way. So there's good things coming down the road for the sheriff's department, and I'm going to give kudos for Sheriff Kreiner for fighting since day one.
Has it almost been, I don't like to use the term, but second class? If you're a deputy, you're not quite as good as a PD, whatever. I'm not trying to put a lot of competition there, but anyway, it's always been so much lower. Yes,
it has. When I came in, it was again, I take it back to administration. The commissioner's court determined if the sheriff's department is held in high esteem or low esteem. And I believe previously, the previous administration held the sheriff's department in low esteem. I ran on law enforcement, and I continue to try to do everything I can on the money end to support law enforcement. And this court now seems to be of the same mindset. So I'm very proud of what we're going to be able to do, what we have done. I'm sounding like a broke record again, but we now have provided them with probably the state-of-the-art sheriff's department in the state of Texas. We're building them the state-of-the-art, the safest detention jail facility in the state of Texas. When it opens, it will be the safest jail there is. Now, I'm sure one will outshine us down the road, but we've done that in 6 years, and we've addressed the pay, we've addressed their equipment, we've addressed their training. We've come a long way, and I think it's just the mindset of the business end of the county of where they put their priorities, and right now we're putting our priorities in law enforcement.
It is 18 away from 7. The time brought to you by Get Around Brown, Barbecue, Cadillac Brown, Get Down Brown, Downtown Brown, Uptown Brown, Todd Brown. We'll serve you up some great breakfast burritos, 4200 West Illinois. Don't call them. Go in and see him and get a big smile on your face, too, and his face. Brown into the building, and you will find them a block east of Midland Drive on Illinois. And so, Judge, water's a big issue too. And if you don't mind, address that. Apparently, MCUD might be coming up with another bond.
Yeah, they had a bond. It didn't pass, and that's unfortunate. It is a large amount of money, but I've been talking lately with a lot of folks about a lot of issues, water being one of them. Water in the county is a big issue, and it's going to take big solutions to deal with it. And the bad thing about that is it's going to take money. And so MCUD being the entity that was started decades ago to deal with this, they haven't done a whole lot because there wasn't just a whole lot to do. Now there is an extreme need for water, and I'm going to go back to 6 years ago when I convened the city. Our architect company that's dealing with that, with MCUD, the county, we had 50 to 75 people in one spot out at the Bush Center trying to deal with how do we deal with the water. We had water in Winkler County that we couldn't get here. We had all kinds of ways. And we've worked from then till now, how do we get water to the residents of the county who want water? And so we have methodically, we've been through so many scenarios. We've been shot down so many different ways. We think we now have a viable plan. Looking back 6 years ago, there was no light at the end of the tunnel. Today, I'm happy to say we're starting to see that little tiny light at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to happen overnight. I feel so much compassion for the folks out there that are having issues. But I've got to keep moving forward with what we're doing. There's a lot of emotionally charged comments and stuff going on, and I appreciate the frustration of those that are personally affected. I don't appreciate the carpetbaggers that are coming in from out of nowhere who helped sink the MCUD bond. They helped to destroy it when they had no dog in the fight, and now they're out there. They want to rake everybody over the coal big enough to die because there's no water in Greenwood. It's really a dichotomy of what's going on, so I can't get really involved in all that noise. What I'm trying to do is deal with what we as a commissioner's court and as a county can do, and so we're moving forward with what MCUD has planned and doing everything we can to help them get to where they can supply water to the residents of the county.
Now, Judge, if the recent bond would have passed, the MCUD bond, that would have fixed the water at Greenwood along with many other parts of the county, I assume. Yeah,
the MCUD boundaries essentially, you'd have to look at a map, but it essentially takes in the east part of Midland County and the south part of Midland County. Now, those boundaries can be expanded at any time. There's a process that can move them and make it a bigger deal, but that was seen as the most need at the time this was created. It would solve, within the next 5 years, it would solve the water issues in Greenwood and south of Midland, and in the next 10 years, it would be a primo system.
Okay, so straighten me out here, Judge, if you don't mind. The MCUD thing, of course, was defeated. The MCUD bond was defeated. And people are upset about not having the proper amount of water and all that kind of thing. And they could have voted for it, and then it would have been, of course, a lot of money. But those are, and I've seen some of the complaints. Why isn't somebody doing something about it? But something could have been done about it.
That was the answer. I'm not promoting the bond. I'm just saying that is the solution. It's going to take a big solution to cure that big problem. Go drive around in Greenwood, spend you about an hour driving every county road you can think to drive, and it's absolutely amazing how many people have moved out there and want to take part of in that lifestyle out there in the rural part of our community. It's a great place. I lived out there 15 years. I'm not complaining to anybody, but after 15 years of half a gallon a minute an hour water well, that's all I had. We couldn't deal with it anymore when we moved back to town. I took a beating on my home. Over 15 years, we'd gone from a trailer house, is what we moved out there, to we had a house built. I had a nice welding shop built, had a lot of stuff going on. We just couldn't deal with it with no water. And there was absolutely no water available to anybody in my area. So took a beating on my house, moved to town. I'm not saying that's what people need to do out there, but I am saying I did buy a place in Menard 16, 17 years ago. First thing I did is I had the water wells checked, tested. I even had one more water well drilled. There were 3 there at the time. We now have 4. Then I bought the place. So I learned my lesson the hard way. I feel horrible if these folks are buying homes that they're being told, yes, you have water and there's a water supply, and they move out there and they spend $500,000 and there's no water. I feel sorry for them. I have all the compassion in the world for them. I'm doing what I can do. I can't go after the builder. That's not, if you got a problem with the builder, that's a civil issue. If you think somebody's poisoning your water and killing you, then file a complaint with the sheriff's department. There's all kinds of ways to deal with it, and I understand they want to gripe at somebody, so I'm the target, and I'll be the target. Just give me your best shot. I'm going to continue to do what I can do, and that is push forward to seek water sources and to how do we make this happen, and that's exactly what we're doing as a court.
Any idea, Judge, and I know that's out of your hand, MCUD will probably now come up with another bond, I guess. What would be different about this one?
I think a lot, and I talked long and hard with him before, and I'd say that the new director they have, and he's a good guy. He's a water guy. He's developed a lot of water utilities in different communities. He's been very, very successful. He came into this deal. He has really come up with a viable plan and done a lot of work since he's been here. I'm very, very impressed and very proud that he's there. He gave us an update yesterday in court. It was a short update, but mainly his message was the board of directors of MCUD have want to continue moving forward. They want to continue with their mission, what they've been directed to do. So they're going to have to go out for another bond. They don't know if it will be this November. They don't think they want to do it in May when it's there's no other election going on. They'd rather when there's a lot of folks going to the polls. So it may be this November, it may be next November. They're going to revisit the number that they had and see what if there's something that can be lowered to help the palate of the voters out there be able to digest it a little better. One thing about it, the hoopla that's going on now draws attention to the fact there's no water out in Greenwood, and there's thousands and thousands of homes out there, and those folks need water. So something good will come out of this. It always comes out of chaos. Something good will always come out as long as you keep moving forward. And all of the players are moving forward. Now, you got the naysayers and the haters, and they're out there making noise, and so be it. Their 15 minutes of fame will go away when the next issue pops up, and they've been on one issue, they'll be on another, now they're on this one, they'll be on the next one, so be it. Please don't be led astray and led down a path by the naysayers. Let's look at what is a realistic solution to this real problem that exists.
All right, naysayers is a nice way to put it. How about pigeons?
Yeah. Pigeons is another way. And I'm going to say it. They come in, they're on the chess table, they're knocking all the pieces everywhere, they're crapping on the board, and then they strut off like they've accomplished something. They haven't done anything except messed up the playing pieces and the game that's going on. Get in there and do something constructive. If you've got all this breath to expel into the atmosphere, offer a solution. We know there's a problem. You don't have to tell me the problem. You don't have to get on Facebook and do webcams and all this kind of stuff. I know what the problems are. I've been dealing with those problems for 6 years. Give me a solution. I'm working on solutions. We have many different routes we can try, and we're working really hard. But we go from 0 to 100. We're going to vote you out of office. Well, that's not a solution. I guarantee you the next guy coming in is going to be so far behind the 8 ball, it'll take him 6 years to get where we are now. I'm just telling you, the rhetoric is just that. It's just rhetoric. Let's look at what can we do to fix this issue.
All right, Terry, from our KWEL Middle College text line, the majority of those people with water issues did not show up to vote. There was a solution, and they had a chance to make it happen and didn't show up to vote.
That's very true. I'm not going to fault them. Elections are elections, and elections have negative and they can have positive consequences. This was a very negative outcome. I think MCUD decided a lot of folks didn't show up to vote. What they would like to do is capitalize on an opportunity when there are a lot of folks coming to the poll anyway because there's something else that interests them. Maybe they'll cast a vote to get water for themselves. And this is for themselves. The people in the city don't get to vote on that. Only the folks affected out in the county would be able to vote. And they've got to go vote. It is money out of your pocket, but you don't have water right now. So you can either gripe with no water or you can, exercise your right to vote and educate yourself. I'm not saying buy into everything MCUD's saying. Go to their meetings. It's their deal. Go educate yourself with them. Go have them tell you. And that was one thing he did, Rodney did tell us in court yesterday. Everything in our power to educate everybody on what it is they're wanting to do. And I think if people knew the story, I believe those that have a level head on their shoulders would understand and bite the bullet and do what needs to be done. And we'll see what happens.
All right, Judge Terry Johnson. Judge, we'll bring in a call. Welcome into the broadcast. You're on the Barney Show with Judge Terry Johnson. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Morning.
Hey, man, I just got to say, why is it that everybody seems to have a problem with the truth? Because from what everything I've seen that's been out there, Judge and Craig, everything that's been put out there is the truth. It's not anything that's been made up, exaggerated, or anything. And we have asked for a solution, Judge. We've asked for our elected officials to take charge and back us up, back the citizens up in this. Go out there, call Mr. Harwood, ask him where the felony charges that were filed against the Park Water Company are. Ask him, please. These people are begging for help. They're crying. Terry, you have no idea what these people are truly going through out there and been going through for a while.
All right. Judge, any thoughts?
I've been doing a lot of work. For 6 years. It was just expressed. We had dealt with. Our environmental unit has looked into everything with TCEQ. The former DA has dealt with what's been presented to them. Everything that's available has been dealt with. I understand the frustration. I get it. I understand the emotionally charged frustration. I get it. I've been out there. I've talked to literally dozens and dozens of people, and so I don't know everything, but I know enough to keep moving forward. I've dealt with our state representatives. I've even reached out to our federal representatives. I'm doing what we can do. So what you just heard from Bull was frustration, emotionally charged frustration. I get it. I understand it. Your elected official, me, Terry Johnson, Midland County Judge, is working a lot to see what we can do to solve this issue. Trust me, we're doing it.
All right, Judge, we'll say hi to another caller. Welcome into the broadcast here on the Morning Show with Judge Terry Johnson. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. My name is Shandy Williams, and I'm with Midland Street News, and we have been the one breaking this case on the water issue in Midland, Texas. Unfortunately, I can no longer get a hold of our elected official, Judge Terry Johnson, because he has blocked me from his Facebook page for speaking out the truth and calling out what he is actually not doing. We have multiple emails where he has refused to meet with constituents of his district who have elected him and put him in office. We have an issue out at Vander Ranch that is so crucial and so dire. The people who are actually going to those elected state representatives are the people in that community. It's the news media sources such as myself. We are the ones reaching out to TCEQ and demanding that justice be served to these guys. This thing is bigger than Judge Johnson even wants to expand on, because he has not even looked into the situation.
All right. With that, I'm going to cut you off, and I have to because we are so short of time, and I'll be accused of being whatever for doing that. But, Judge, before we wrap it up, any thoughts on that call?
Well, those are a lot of statements, and you can't respond to statements. There wasn't a question in there for me to answer. So, I mean, it's emotionally charged. It is absolutely just emotionally charged, and I get it. I get the frustration. Some of the things that she said were totally out of, I'm going to say false, because we are working. She stated that she's been to TCQ and she's dealt with state. Well, have they done anything? Because I've been to them and we can't get anything done. So hopefully they've gotten better results. It didn't sound like they have. That goes to show it's kind of a situation that just needs bigger solutions.
All right, Judge, we got to run. We are out of time. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate that. Judge Terry Johnson.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.